Columbia Institute of Technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh.
Good afternoon, I'm Izzy Morgan, and these are your news headlines for 2:30. 4 Canadians are back in British Columbia after being stranded for nearly a week on the cruise ship at the center of the hantavirus outbreak. Provincial Health Officer Dr. Bonnie Henry says the arrival went smoothly.
I want to provide assurance as well that at no point during their arrival or transfer did any of them come in contact with the public, and the healthcare workers that were involved were all wearing appropriate PPE at all times. We now have daily monitoring in place, and they will remain fully isolated for the duration of their monitoring period.
They are being quarantined in the health region of Vancouver Island and will remain in isolation for a minimum of 21 days. Health officials say none of the passengers are showing symptoms, however, they are in a critical period. They add the virus is not considered a widespread risk and does not spread as easily as the flu or coronavirus. The captain of the ship has now released a statement thanking the crew and passengers for their perseverance. In a recorded message released by Oceanwide Expeditions, which operates the ship, Captain Yadabrowski says his thoughts are with the ones that are no longer with us. Speaking about everyone on board, he said,
"What touched me the most, what moved me the most was your patience, your discipline, and also kindness that you show to each other."
Police say 2 teenagers from Surrey, BC are dead in an apparent targeted shooting related to an ongoing gang conflict. A statement from Sergeant Frida Fong with the Integrated Homicide Investigation Team says those killed on Sunday were 16 and 18 years old, both male, and the shooting has left 2 families grieving the loss of young lives taken far too soon. Officers with the Surrey Police Services had responded to the calls of the shooting in an underground parking lot in the 7,000 block of 133 B Street at about 10 p.m. Police say they found the 2 victims suffering from gunshot wounds, and both were pronounced dead at the scene despite the efforts of first responders. A snowmobiler missing since Friday has been found dead as rescue efforts were hampered by treacherous winter conditions. RCMP say the snowmobiler from Whitehorse set out with 2 others to retrieve a broken-down snow machine in the Haines Pass area in northwestern BC. The missing snowmobiler was separated from the group without survival gear or a satellite phone. Due to poor weather conditions, rescuers were unable to access the area where the man went missing until Sunday. Police say a snowmobile group and helicopter canvassed the area before locating the man. The man's body was found about 4 kilometers from his last known location. The coroner's service has taken over the investigation. Emergency service members responded to a crash Saturday afternoon, which left a motorcycle suspended from a traffic light. Photos of the scene have gone viral on social media. The front tire of the bike was hooked on the bar of a streetlight, leaving the blue motorcycle hanging on the 7100 block of Scottdale Road. Delta Police says the motorcyclist sustained serious injuries and has been hospitalized but suffered no life-threatening injuries. The driver of the other vehicle was left uninjured. Speed is believed to have been a factor in the accident. Mounties in the northwestern British Columbia have cancelled a province-wide Amber Alert for 2 children. RCMP did not provide further details but thanked the public for their assistance. The alert was issued just before 1 a.m. this morning and lifted just before 3 a.m. Mounties had said the children were taken Sunday from an address in Terrace, BC, and were headed eastbound. Police believe the children were with a 37-year-old woman. BC is making new investments in its forest industry. This includes expanding its wood markets to other countries. Garrett Rosehill has more.
BC Forest Minister Ravi Parmar has announced some new plans to help the forest industry in the province. This includes diversifying markets in Japan, South Korea, China, and Canada. Overall, more than $16 million will be put into this plan. BC is a forest industry with workers from all over the province and is the 3rd largest exporter of softwood lumber in the world. U.S. President Donald Trump has placed tariffs on lumber going into the United States from Canada. More updates on the plan from Parmar are expected. Garrett Rosel, BCIT News.
Artificial Intelligence Minister Evan Solomon and TELUS have announced plans to build 2 more AI data centers in BC. TELUS says it will also expand its existing Kamloops data center in addition to the new Vancouver facilities, one in the Mount Pleasant neighborhood and the other in the city's downtown. The Kamloops expansion and the Mount Pleasant facility will open later this year, while the downtown site will come online in 2029. A joint news release says once the centers are fully scaled, they are expected to create about $9 billion in economic value in BC. The CEO of the Canada Development Investment Corporation says she would love to see the Trans Mountain Pipeline in Canadian hands indefinitely. The agency oversees the Crown Corporation that operates the line between Edmonton and Export Terminal in Burnaby, BC. Elizabeth Wademan says it's a piece of strategic infrastructure.
It has incredible value. I think it's even more strategic now, given the global dynamic, but it's about getting market access for Canadian oil. So I think there's absolutely a case to be a long-term holder.
Movement YVR released a statement regarding a low-income pass due to TransLink's new fare increase. June Bravo explains how the new fare hike can affect riders.
Students getting off school and their U-passes not being available, transit users have a looming concern regarding the 5% fare increase in July. Movement YVR, an advocate for transit riders, released a statement asking for a low-income pass. They say that the new fare hike in July will add another financial strain to households yearly. Movement YVR states that it is, quote, embarrassing that British Columbia still does not have passes that can help all riders financially. June Bravo, BCIT News.
In weather today, you can expect it to be mostly sunny with a high of 17, dropping down to a low of 11 tonight. Tomorrow, we will see a high of 20 with some clouds in the afternoon. As prom season rises, many teens and parents are scrambling around to fund the elaborate and expensive dresses for the big night. Victoria Nido has more.
As high schoolers prepare to graduate, costs build up. Prom season remains a struggle for many teens, trying to look their best on their big night. Aside from prom tickets that can range from $50 to $150, the big show all comes from the gowns. Some boutiques are now open to gown rentals to help ease the financial burden grad season can bring for some parents. In Vancouver, there is an increase in rental-friendly boutiques offering a range of styles, merging style with sustainability, making it an eco-friendly opt to look fabulous no matter the occasion. Victoria Naidu, BCIT News.
That's your news to 2:40. I'm Izzy Morgan, and you're listening to BCIT's The Crow.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikka-King.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Trettanero.
And I'm Radhika Sikka-King. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikka-King.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Trettanero.
And I'm Radhika Sikka-King. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.
Good afternoon. I'm Noah Peckham, and here are your sports headlines. Tonight in the NHL playoffs, the Colorado Avalanche take on the Minnesota Wild in a pivotal Game 4. The Avalanche currently lead this series 2-1. Former Vancouver Canucks captain Quinn Hughes currently sits third in the NHL for points with 13 these playoffs. He'll look to continue his strong play tonight to help the Wild even the series. After sitting for Game 2 of this series, rookie goaltender Jesper Wallstedt takes the net for the second straight game for Minnesota. Wild head coach John Hines spoke about the young netminder's mindset.
I think the way that he handled the whole situation, even when he and I sat down and talked about what we were thinking and the decision we were going to make, his feedback and input to me was very mature. And then the way he went about and handled it, he took a little bit of rest and recovery. He worked, practiced, came back and had a good game. So that's, he continually shows, improvement like that.
The game takes place this evening in Minnesota at 5. Buffalo Sabres forward Beck Malestein and Montreal Canadiens defenseman Arber Xhekaj are paying for their actions. The NHL's Department of Player Safety said in separate statements Monday both players have been fined the maximum allowable under the collective bargaining agreement for infractions during Sunday's Game 3 in Montreal. Matthew Schaefer, the New York Islanders Children's Foundation, and Northwell Health have partnered on a child support center. The center will be named after Matthew's late mom, Jennifer Schaefer. The Islanders are donating $150,000 towards the center. Schaefer lost his mom to breast cancer in 2024. In 2025, Schaefer was selected first overall by the New York Islanders and since then has shown support to young children who have also lost parents or are battling cancer. Schaefer says his mom inspired him.
Your best. I know my mom's always gonna have my back no matter what, and today she's a strong woman, and she did a lot of things in life for me and my brother, and she's a big role model for me. So I wish I was as strong as her, but I will never be, because moms are the strongest people around.
In the PWHL, the Montreal Victoire were set to take on the Minnesota Frost in a win-or-go-home Game 5 matchup. However, the PWHL postponed the game due to illness affecting multiple players in the series. No makeup date has been determined. The winner of the series will face the Ottawa Charge in the Walter Cup final. The Toronto Blue Jays placed Addison Barger on the 10-day injured list Monday with right elbow inflammation ahead of their game against the Tampa Bay Rays. The move was retroactive to Sunday, one day after Barger returned from a sprained left ankle that sidelined him for 29 games. Manager John Snyder said Sunday the outfielder woke up with limited range of motion after making a strong throw from right field in Saturday's 14-1 win over the Los Angeles Angels. The Blue Jays take on the Tampa Bay Rays today at 4. With the FIFA World Cup coming to Vancouver in less than 40 days, our reporter Ali Fala has more on how prepared the VPD is for providing security during this massive competition.
According to Constable Darren Wong, the VPD's planning for providing Vancouver security has started from years ago and it has gone quite well. He also mentioned that the VPD is counting on the Transit Police, RCMP, and in particular Calgary and Edmonton's police help. At the end, he asked Vancouverites to be patient during the games, especially with traffic on the roads. Ali Fala, BCIT News.
Missouri officials say All-America running back Ahmed Hardy is in stable condition after being shot at a concert in Mississippi. Missouri announced in a statement that Hardy was shot early Sunday morning and underwent surgery for the gunshot wound later that day. The details of the shooting were not immediately clear. In the NBA playoffs, the Cleveland Cavaliers are facing the Detroit Pistons, and the Los Angeles Lakers are facing the Oklahoma City Thunder. That's all for now. I'm Noah Peckham for BCIT's The Crow. Thanks for listening.
everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikakane.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretnero.
And I'm Radhika Sikakane.